Welcome to The Bottom Line. I'm Chan Helfeld, and our guest is Gerald Connolly, Congressman for the 11th Congressional District of Virginia. Thank you for appearing on The Bottom Line.
My great pleasure.
Should the government protect all peaceful citizens against people that want to use force to take their money?
Sure.
Can you live well if other people can legally gang up on you and forcefully take your money?
I'm sorry?
Can you live well if other people can legally gang up on you and forcefully take your money?
I think you answer your own question in the way you formulate it, but of course not.
Should the government redistribute its citizens' wealth by forcefully taking money from some citizens through taxes in order to provide goods and services for others?
Well, I don't know that you have to refer to it as redistribution. I think I prefer the proposition that we need a progressive tax code that takes into account the issue of equality and equity and tries to make sure that lower end of the economic and social bracket has some protections so that they can lead a quality of life that is acceptable. In this country, there was a time where, frankly, we didn't do that at all, and people were essentially in this social Darwinian model of survival of the fittest. And that's what government over the last 110 years has, in an evolutionary way, attempted to address, so we make for a more equitable society and create opportunities for everybody.
I was referring to situations like the taxpayers are forced to pay for farm subsidies, for example. That's redistribution of wealth, right? So the taxpayers' money is taken in order to give it to the farmers, say, for not farming. Would you be in favor of that?
Well, I don't know that that is a redistribution of wealth. The farm program was designed to achieve certain outcomes, to lessen risk and to enhance productivity and to try to guarantee a fair return for the enormous investments farmers made. We can argue whether that model continues to be a salient one and whether it makes sense. But I don't know that it was designed ever, frankly, for the redistribution of wealth.
Okay, so you would think that it is right for the government to forcefully take the money from some citizens through taxes in order to give it to one particular group, like the farmers?
Well, you're using the adverb forcibly.
Yes.
The tax code has, the income tax, for example, has been in place since Woodrow Wilson. We are a democracy, and it's been ratified by many elected governments since that time. So I wouldn't use the word forcibly. It is part of the culture of American life. It was first instituted under Abraham Lincoln to help pay for the Civil War.
Are people forced to pay taxes?
People are required to pay taxes. It's every citizen's responsibility.
If they don't pay, what will the government do?
Some pay less.
If they don't pay their income tax, what will the government do? Will they use force to make them pay or not?
There are penalties for not paying one's obligation.
So taxes are not voluntary, right?
Well, again, there's a lot of stuff that isn't, in that sense, voluntary. I didn't argue it was voluntary. You used a word that is laden with connotation, and I don't choose to use that word. I think that's misleading.
Okay, so you think that the government isn't forcing the people to pay, right? If they don't pay, will the government use force
I'm not
in order
sure
to
what
require
the point is. I'm not sure
pay?
where you're going here.
I'm just trying to. You objected to my terminology as people being
because
forced
I think it's a biased word.
Well, but does the government enforce the law or not?
Yes, government enforces laws. It's required to. When I take an oath for public office, I take an oath to enforce the laws.
Okay, so the government has to use force to require people to follow the law, tax law or any other law.
Well, the government has the right ultimately to resort to force to enforce all laws.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant by forcing them to pay taxes in order to provide goods and services for other people.
Well, it seemed to be, as I said, laden with other meaning.
Okay. Previously, you had said that the government should protect all peaceful citizens against people that want to use force to take their money, right?
Well, I assume what you meant by that was somebody who was committing a criminal act.
Okay. So you think that the government should not protect peaceful citizens against people that want to use force to take their money?
You know, Jan, I think this interview really has no longer served its purpose. But thank you.
Well,
Thanks
let's
for
talk
having
about
me.
something else.
I don't feel we need to do that.
Do you think the?
I've got other things to do, but thank you.
Do you think the questions were unfair?
I think the interview is inane.
What was it? I can ask you about something else.
I got a schedule here.
Okay.